Hello, I'm Ramie.
And I'm Beth.
And this is Brother Knows Quest, the podcast where I, your host, introduce my sister to the wonderful world of tabletop role-playing games. Beth, you'll notice there's no book in front of you today.
Mm-hmm.
We done this last week, didn't we?
Yeah.
We recorded a whole episode on City of Mist, and I couldn't really talk much about it. I went over the whole player's handbook, but also I said it wasn't a game for me, which I'm sure you noticed. I wasn't as into the game as a lot of other ones I talked about, right?
Yeah. I wasn't either.
Neither were you. You didn't like the artwork, which she sits here and looks through the book, finds things she's interested in. And the art wasn't for her. It's more of a comic style thing. That is fine with me. I'm okay with it. I'm not a huge fan of comic books, but that's the art they chose. But the problem with me is I'm not a big fan of noir or detective or investigation style stuff. And this game was really about that. And after I got out of the, starter set or beginner box or whatever and got into the book, I just didn't vibe well with it. And I bought a lot of this City of Mist. I've got 2 cases of books. The beginner's box, I got the player's handbook and the MC book in one box. And then I got a whole other box of expansion stuff that I bought. I really got into it. And the problem was I didn't watch any actual plays or anything before I actually bought this one. And this has been a year or so ago. I just decided I wasn't going to sit here and kind of talk down about a game that is perfectly fine in my episode. I recorded it with you and decided I wasn't going to release it because it deserves better than that. It's not for me.
Like, the quality of the game looked great, but it's just not my style that I prefer.
And it wasn't mine. And
for somebody that enjoys that, I'm going to say genre, it would have been a great game.
Yeah, I pushed my limits with the other PBTA game about investigation stuff, such as you can get a little bit of that with Monster of the Week, where you have to investigate, find out what kind of monster you're about to fight, and figure out its weaknesses and all that. But you could do that in any game. But this was really, like I said, a noir, big city kind of crime boss monsters, creature, not monsters, but people who have a double life. And just, I don't know, it didn't suit me very well. And I didn't want to sit here and complain about something that was actually pretty good. And I've watched people since then have fun with it, but I just can't get into that scene. I've never been good at the investigation kind of. I can do it as a player, but as a GM, I can't. And it makes it hard for me to sit and talk about something with enthusiasm. And I don't want to do that to you all or to the game. But we could talk about games we do like, the settings we like. And I thought that'd be a good episode to have this week, as well as an explanation, because I didn't want to bring in another game and talk about it right after I complained about something else. Now, we know what you like, don't we? Fantasy, high fantasy, things like it. D&D, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't know if you would enjoy a game if it wasn't... Do you like the fact it's old, like old-timey stuff, or do you like the fact it's just magic? Obviously, if it was just magic, you would have enjoyed this one too, I think, City of Mist.
Yeah, it's not really the magic, because I don't use too much magic in the games.
Yeah, you're a rogue, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not really just the magic, it's just the old-timey, I believe.
You're like Sheldon's wife. She just likes her Little House on the Prairie.
Amy.
Amy. Reading her Little House on the Prairie books.
I bought all of those on DVD, and because we used to watch them with Papa all the time. And now that I watch them or tried to rewatch them, I realized it's depressing. Most of the episodes are really depressing.
They are. A lot of sad stuff. I think it's kind of boring. A slice of life on the prairie. It's a prairie, okay? If the characters weren't so wacky occasionally, I don't think I could have sat through many of them. I didn't sit through many of them, to be fair. I think I could play just a slice of life style D&D game, or even a little low magic to no magic, just living out a daily life as a shop owner or taking up odd jobs around town, even if you're not an extremely powerful character. We discussed that with the It's Only Magic, I believe, with Monte Cook Games and the Cypher system, where it's just mundane, everyday life in the modern era, but there's touches of magic in it too. Like a coffee shop where all the stuff is brewed with magic, and they float to you when they're done cooking or fixing your coffee or whatever. You could have little simple things like that and still be fun. I don't know what it was about City of Mist, other than the setting, that I just don't think I could get along with. I don't think I could run a good game with it. I don't have that kind of imagination for mysteries, yeah, and detective work. I can play in those, and if I have a module like D&D, occasionally there's a good mystery in a D&D mod, and I'll run it okay when I play a lot of D&D, because the book has it laid out how things should go. And I don't know if I could do that with another system as easily, because they don't have as many modules and a whole system based on it. I know I would struggle. It's just a matter of taste. I don't regret buying it. Sometimes I'll loan our friend Dakota books and let him read through them and then go from there. And so it won't go to waste. I'll find a use for it eventually.
Yeah.
I bought a bunch of them, and I know we are never going to have a group to play them all. My motto is, I'll just do an episode on them. I really like them. I'd like to play them. I ain't got the group to play them. I'll just talk about it a bit.
Maybe one day we'll have friends.
Yeah. But this is one of those situations where I can't say I bought all these things. So much money spent on these things a year ago. And I got them before I even started the podcast. So I didn't know what I know now about myself and these settings. And some of them, just for me, it make or break it. And I'm sure it does it for a lot of people. And I don't want to mod games. I've probably talked about this before. If it's homebrew, I can do a homebrew campaign, but I don't like homebrew mechanics. And so I'm not going to try to change the whole way the books are made to be played. The game is made to be played just to suit it to my needs. There's other games out there that do that better already. Why don't I just play those? That's what got me away from D&D. When I've got all these games in here because I wanted to do a space campaign, or at least look into trying to do one. People are like, use D&D, you can mod it. I don't want to mod D&D. I want a game that was made from the ground up to do it. So I got Starfinder, and I found Stars Without Number, Traveler. A lot of other games out there do space and are made to do it from the get-go. It just makes more sense to do that. Even if I have to learn a new rule system, it makes more sense than sifting through D&D's books to try to make it work. The closest you got to another campaign setting, you've done the Numenera one, where the thing threw heads at you.
Yeah.
Then you done the Fate one, which was very short-lived. It was only like a night. It was in one shot. And you all chose to play as play as each other. I'm pretty sure you just played as yourselves in this setting. And it was just I tried to do an investigative thing. I didn't know what I was getting into at the time either. It's probably why it was a short-lived one. And we used Fate for that. And then we tried the Cypher system Fallout setting that I had set up and had. And that was actually fun. I wish we could have played that more, but people didn't come to visit as often then. And so it only went for a couple days. But still, what we did of it was fun. I could play in a campaign where there's little to no combat. I could run certain campaigns with little to no combat. But making a proper mystery is just not in me to do it. Don't ever expect a murder mystery from me, okay?
So no murder mystery dinners.
No, they might be traps. You get in a room, it's flooding, and you have to answer some puzzle to get out. That might happen, but you're not going to find any murder mystery or something like that from me. Any other setting that you could think of? Oh, you also played Legend of the Five Rings, but that didn't last very long. It was the samurai one.
Oh, no, I didn't like that one.
Yeah, they don't like the honor thing.
Yeah.
They want to be able to be tricky and lie, and I had to punish players for playing like they were going to talk down to the common folk because they were samurai, which might have been the way things went in real life, but they didn't have to do it in the game, and the game doesn't encourage it. And I'm, if not a rules lawyer. If you had to play in a setting that wasn't medieval fantasy, what would you play in? Could you think that you might enjoy or have enjoyed? We know it isn't samurais.
I think the Fallout one was fine if I could have got past the giant cockroaches.
The rad roaches. She ate one in the series, didn't she? Or somebody was cooking one up.
Oh, I eat them all the time in the video game.
Oh, yeah. Cook them up and have some rad roach. I want to do another Fallout one. Now that I've got the actual Fallout, the official game, I would like to do that, but I've never actually got a group together to do it. We have ran out of friends. Beth quit her day job and started delivering groceries, and you don't meet as many friends there as you do as a normal day job.
That's kind of the perk of it, though.
Yeah.
You don't have to deal with people most of the time.
In my former place of employment, it was a factory, and it was, older and middle-aged men who just had no interest in that kind of stuff. But I did work with a few younger people who did play with us until they all quit, and I was the last one there. And now, I don't know. I guess I could go online and find, but I'd rather have someone who knew me a little bit better and knows what to expect from me. Your dog won't die in this campaign. Neither will your cat. That's my guarantee. And some people don't take that very well.
Yeah, but you might poop yourself and get knocked up by a random gnome.
It wasn't a random gnome. It was actually just a demon, okay? It was a demon, and you chose it on accident. That kind of thing happens. Well, it did. I wouldn't do that with some rando. That was my sister character, not a random person. But yeah, I just want to get on here and tell you, don't expect me if I get into something and cover the first part of it and then go into it later and I realize that I won't be able to do it justice because I can't talk
We
well
don't
about
want to make it sound like we're trash talking a perfectly good game.
Yeah, I like the rule system. I like it all. I don't get along with the setting and I'm not going to change it, so I just won't talk about it. If you are into that noir feel of detectives or this average man who gets pulled into a situation where they have to figure out something, and they are also some form of aspect of a great person, great idea, or mythical creature or thing, this is great. Go for City of Mist. I don't think of anything that really does it better, but the setting just turned me away after I got into it more. You might have noticed that in the starter set discussion I was talking. I didn't really get into the actual city itself too much, and I should have known that was a sign then. But I also won't talk about anything that I completely dislike. I won't buy it. This, at least, I liked enough from the get-go to buy. That should say something about it. I felt bad not releasing an episode over it, but I also would have felt bad, like I said, talking bad about something that's good for most people. Just not for me. Not as a GM, anyway. I think the next game I will run will either be a Fallout one or Shadow Dark. It could be between 3 games: Shadow Dark, Fallout, or Old Gods of Appalachia.
I'd like to try the Old Gods of Appalachia.
And it runs on Cypher System. You've played that already. You played the Numenera, and you played our little Fallout campaign. So you know a little bit about it. I gush on about Cypher System. I always come back to it. To me, it's the new standard. I don't mean to be favoritist like that, but I liked it. And they also have a good space campaign setting. If I ever wanted to do that space thing, I'll look at the recent buy list from our affiliate links on DriveThruRPG, and I'll pick one to do from there that I haven't already done. A lot of people, when they buy, will actually use the affiliate link just to get what I've talked about. But some people, they'll also add things to their cart. And that also tells me what other people are interested in. And I can get a good idea. I also go to YouTube a lot and just see what new things are coming out. And this is the only time I've bought something, City of Mist, that I wouldn't have bought if I'd have known more about it, just because I knew the setting wouldn't work for me more. I don't know why I did that. It's a great game. Somebody will use it. I don't know what I'll talk about next week. I'll find something and bring it up. And apologies for not releasing an episode last week. If you like what you heard here, we're part of the Gruesome Gaming Group Podcast Network. We have other podcasts like Leveling Duo. We just talked about some of that. It is a podcast where me and Beth and my friend Dakota will talk about video games we enjoy or something video game related. We will also discuss, yes, I want to do an episode of Leveling Duo for Halloween about ghost Pokemon Pokedex entries and how creepy they really are and how messed up some of them can be.
Yeah.
That would be good. We have Horrific History and Hauntings, which is a good one for this time of year. It's where Beth tells me about something spooky or hauntings or terrible history or natural disaster. We'll just cover terrible things that happen. And this week or this month should be all about spooky stuff, ghostly things.
Ghosts and monsters.
At least the ghost stories.
Yeah.
We can't guarantee, since it is technically a history podcast, we can't guarantee they're real, but we can lead up to the events that happened and the rumors around it. So take the ghost stories with a grain of salt. Don't take it as historical fact. But anyway, if you want to find all those, there's a Linktree link in the description. The first link will take you to our Gruesome Gaming Group podcast website. You can find all our podcasts there. Click on the title of whichever one you want to listen to, and it'll take you to the rest in that whole podcast series. Or you can just Google us or look us up on your podcast app of choice, of course. We're also on YouTube, dropping episodes on there. If you want to find any of our socials, they're in the Linktree link as well. And there's also a Facebook group for the Horrific History and Hauntings. There's Threads. There's X, which is the one we're technically most active on, I guess. There's TikTok, if you just want to follow there. And reach out to us through any of those means. Messages should be open. And let us know what you think. Give us ideas of things to cover and stuff like that. If you want to leave a rating, Pocket Casts now let you leave stars. And, of course, the other apps, you can leave ratings and reviews if you want. Let us know there as well. We appreciate them, even if they're not the shining reviews one would hope for. Anyway, thank you for listening. I've been Ramie.
And I'm Beth.
And this has been Further Nose Quest. Bye-bye.